Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am so blessed and honored to be here with my good friend, Christopher Chalk, Global Mobility at Fiserv. Hey, Christopher, how are you doing today, sir?
Fantastic, Ben. How you doing today?
I am awesome. I'm with you, man. It's good to see you. Hey, everybody out there, hit that like button right now. Get active in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are, what you're up to right now on this fine Tuesday. We're going to be talking about MARC. What is MARC? Tell me about the history of MARC. What's going on at MARC? We're going to be talking just a little bit about just kind of, sessions in general and, fun at conferences and get-togethers, which is one of my favorite topics, frankly. So I can't wait to do all that stuff. We got people checking in early over here. Look at Michael Quigley, double C in the house. Is this a new nickname that we have to now put into our phones?
Michael literally just invented it.
Mike's very innovative. Honestly, for a mover, Mike is quite innovative. Hit that like button if you like Mike's comment. Hit it if you don't. We're going to talk about MARC. Hey, Chris, real quick, let's hop in.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris. I love MARC. Random LinkedIn user. Love that. Awesome. Hello from Sunny. Hashtag Western NY. The hashtag has to be a part of the word, Tim, or it won't pick up in the algorithm. Tell me about MARC. What is MARC?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just a guy that works in the moving industry. MARC stands for Metro Atlanta Relocation Council. It's an organization that was established here in Georgia. I don't know, it probably goes back to the 50s. I feel like I've been a part of it since the 80s, but it's a fantastic group. It was one of the first, or probably the first, regional or local relocation council I ever attended because I live in Atlanta. And but didn't realize at the time it really set the bar pretty high for other groups I would eventually visit.
Full disclosure, I've never been to a MARC event.
That's what I'm here for today.
I know. I need to, right? What was let me ask you, so when you said it was the first one you went to, and we got people coming in, hit that like button. People are checking in all over the place. Hit that like button. I need y'all out there. Hello from sunny Buzios, which is a beach in Rio, the state of Rio, but not Rio de Janeiro. It's about 2.5 hours away, I'm told. Doris Comp from Texas. What up, Doris? Good to see you. Brian Fudenberg, MARC's next meeting is gonna rock. What's going on at MARC's next meeting?
So it's on the 13th, so it's next week. Registration is already higher than it was for last year, and last year so we have several meetings throughout the year, but we have our educational forum, which we changed the date this year, moved it up. I wasn't ready to start planning one after the last one already, but here we are. And last year was the first one out of COVID, and I was amazed at the participation in the event. We had, we've taken a little bit different path than what we've historically done, because to grow you got to change, and just had a fantastic meeting. Some of the sessions, still getting calls and texts for some of the speakers that we had. Other groups want to bring them out to their meetings, and we strongly encourage that. So we just had really a different approach to mobility in that last session. So we're trying to continue that trend next week.
Give people a flavor real quick, because we got a lot of very flavory people in here checking in here. Give people just a flavor. Like, what was one thing you pulled out of that last MARC event? One memory, one thought, one takeaway.
People cried.
What?
Doesn't sound like a good thing.
I love when people cry. Unpopular opinion.
Yeah,
I love it.
It seemed like a cathartic thing. We had just a fantastic speaker talking about return to work and everything that everybody had dealt with over the last couple of years, and how that was going to affect their relationships with coworkers and the stress of it all. And people in the audience were in tears, but good tears. So,
good tears.
Yeah, we got really good marks
tears
on that one.
Not peak season tears, pre-peak season tears, off-season tears. That's awesome. I want to talk about sessions and what makes a good session as well. We got people checking in. Vinny Valverde. Hey guys, cheers from Atlanta. Looking forward to another great week in the ATL. Vinny representing Atlanta like it's a second home these days.
Vinny, are you coming to the meeting?
Vinny, you coming? No lie, Vinny. Straight up, you coming?
Stephanie
said I was a speaker last year. That's why people cried.
Yeah. I didn't want to go into that No, that's when they applauded. Yeah,
Yes.
Vinny did a great job. We had a lot of fun with Vinny. So, because I knew I could have fun with Vinny, we did a session last year. Wanted to bring a little bit of the Atlanta flavor to it, and Vinny had just taken a job with UPS and really hadn't spent much or any time in Atlanta. So, without his knowledge, we played a game of Atlanta trivia and gave him all these
Without
questions.
his knowledge, I love it.
Well, I mean, we told him there's going to be some Q&A at the end, but I did not give him the answers to the questions because it would have been more fun for him to not know because he'll make up better answers than we could have written together anyways. And he did not disappoint. We had a ball. Had some there was some like Waffle House geared questions like what can you put in grits, like what's an appropriate grit topping in the South, things like that. He did
Smothered,
well.
covered.
Well, we had pictures.
Oh
Yeah.
So I'm okay. Straight up, I'm gonna be honest with you. We should do top 5 favorite grit toppings.
I'm in for that. Yeah.
I mean, what's your favorite thing? Okay, sidebar here. Favorite thing to put on grits?
I mean, yeah, the classic stuff, the basics like butter and brown sugar. I have a best friend from high school used to bring his own bag of brown sugar to the Waffle House at high school because they didn't have brown sugar at Waffle House for the grits. So that's growing up in Georgia. Andouille sausage, it's good at grits.
Andouille, yes, very nice. I'm a huge fan of shrimp and grits. I know we're going in a different direction. That's a whole nother. It's not a side order, then it's like a whole thing. But I'm a big fan of shrimp and grits. People that don't know what that. Yeah, see, Keith knows shrimp or scrimp, as we say down in the ACL. Scrimp.
So for everybody that's not from the South, there was a period of about 10 years, and everybody from the South knows exactly what I'm talking about. There was about 10 years where you could not go to a wedding without the shrimp and grits bar. So you would get a martini glass and you would fill it up with grits, and then they have the toppings sitting out. So that was literally at every wedding for 10 years straight.
Yeah, and then that sounds awesome. They need to bring that back, maybe up north where they don't know about it. Also, I mean, what about just cheese grits?
Heck yeah.
Tracy McCullough, hush your mouth, Tracy. Grits is trash, she says. Why, Tracy? Why? Is it because nobody put sugar in your grits? Nobody put butter in your grits? Why, Tracy? You're not supposed to just have them out the box with some water. Come on, Tracy. I need more information, Tracy. Vinny says this. Okay, so Vinny says, unfortunately, I'm not going because I'm here this week, and I will not be the butt of your Atlanta trivia jokes. But he did ask, Chris, is there a deadline to register to the MARC event happening next week?
The deadline is today. You're going to shut
the door down? Today?
Yeah, the deadline is today, but hey, good news. If anybody is thinking about it and you don't get to it today, if you've seen this show, if you've seen Love and Relo, you just put that in the comments. Heck, you might even get a discount off your registration if you haven't already registered. I'll get with the treasurer later. Yeah.
So it's either closed today or you can register tomorrow with Love and Relo discount.
Sure.
The opposite, the reverse early bird. It's the late bird gets the worm. All right, we got people coming and people are flooding the comments. Hit that like button right now. People are flooding the comments. If you've got a favorite grit topping, apparently this is what we're doing right now. Darren Burley says, got to mix the over easy eggs and brown sugar on top. Brown sugar and eggs.
That's bold.
But I'm not mad at it. Somebody played the Tupac. I ain't mad at you. All right. Rebecca Glatzhover, butter, cheese, thick salt. What is thick salt? Is that kosher salt, like coarse salt?
Coarse.
And maybe even some bacon. I like thick bacon, regular salt, thick salt, maybe some bacon. Okay, I'll allow it. Keith, that's because she eats instant grits. Nasty. It's a texture thing, and I'm from the South. Well, make it into like a cake, like a polenta then or something. Somebody help Tracy out. Could somebody send Tracy a recipe, please? Anthony, hi, Ben. It's been a while, brother. Yes, it has. Anthony, I hope you're doing well. Anthony's out of the UK. Jalapenos and cheese. There's Lee. There you go.
That's it, Lee.
Texas Pete. Okay, old school. Fancy salt, like pink salt. Anyway, this is great. This is fantastic. We got people checking in here. Lee saying, come join us. Can't wait to see everyone. Francine, hi from St. Louis. This is fantastic. Stephanie Owens still pushing hard. Awesome. People are pushing. Hello from Washington. Stephanie from UPS is going to be great. Oh, she was the one that came in on she was not registering on the LinkedIn. Dano McCoy. Hey guys from Las Vegas. What's up, Dano? Erica Burton. Hey, fellas. Hey, if you've been to MARC event, I want to know what was your favorite MARC event and why. Put it in there. I'm very curious. I've never been to a MARC event. I'd love to know why I should go to a MARC event. Hello, Rebecca Glatzhofer from Wisconsin. And look, Mike Falia, good to see you here. Chris, last time I saw you were celebrating Ben's birthday in Puerto Rico. Oh, yes, at the Bacardi factory. Yes.
That was about 1 million years ago. Yeah, that was a good time.
I was like 21 back then. That's how long ago that was. That was awesome. People saying me happy birthday. Somebody's saying in Spanish. Mike, miss you. But Chris, for real though, why? I've never been to a MARC event. I know registration's almost closed, so I might have missed the boat this time. But give me a couple reasons I should attend a MARC event. It's been on my bucket list, my Relo bucket list for a while.
And we'll make it happen for you. It's just a fantastic group of people. There's so much history there, yet not afraid to try new things. It's, I almost felt like I grew up in this organization because probably the first MARC event I went to, I could barely remember it because it's been so very long ago. Bob Munson, I think, invited me to it. I just started working with him. Had just gotten into this industry. And I don't think I had half a clue what anybody was talking about in that session. Like, I had no idea. Just topics that, were way above where I was.
How long ago was that, Christopher? How long ago was that?
You can call me.
We got to call him Christopher today, y'all. He's in the office, okay?
That's right. So, Ben, probably, I have to look down and see what year it is now, but probably about 21 years ago.
What?
Yeah. When I was gonna
say because look at you now. Like now you're like the guy on the panels. You're like the big speaker. Your face is just make it real big so everybody shows up. And
it's just because all those other people, Ben, all the ones that were speaking about the topics I couldn't understand, they all retired to Florida, and so I'm what's left.
They all retired. So yeah. Hey, we're winning. Hey, we're winning the war of attrition, but you know what? We're winning the war. Okay, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's right.
That's all that matters. So 21 years ago, you started going to MARC. And back when they, nickel pop machines in the conference, and I love that though. That's fantastic. So you started going there, and then you felt like you kind of grew up in the organization, and
absolutely. And people will take the time to, not everybody, but I could always find people take the time to kind of help you along and give you advice and go to lunch with you and just kind of bring you up in mobility in Atlanta. So I always found it to be a very warm and welcoming organization. Very inclusive.
That's one of the things I'm hearing here in the comments here. Vinny saying Southern hospitality. Last year was my first, and people are very welcoming. Great educational content. This is something that's oft overlooked. Okay. But let me ask you, how does MARC come up with the educational content you produce?
So great question. We get a group together from the board or, the board and outside of the board, try to mix it across, corporate supplier, different suppliers, not the same people each year, and start just kind of brainstorming. What would I like to see? What content would I not get up and go check emails if I was sitting there watching? And I mean, that's
a great way. I love that, by the way. I love that way to look at it.
Yeah.
What would keep me from checking an email?
Yeah. And then some of the content we came up with for the last session, we had so many legitimate good ideas that we didn't even get to use them all. Still haven't used them all in this upcoming session is how good the content is. So I've got one really good idea. It wasn't my idea, it was Amy's idea, but one really good idea for the next one. So, you guys all have to start attending because you're going to love it. But, and we just go through the process to say, okay, what would this session look like? And we kind of build them out, sketch them out, and based on speakers availability and what we think is going to get butts in seats, and make people get up and go, wow, that was really worth my time or my day. It's hard to get out of the office right now. So we just go through and then down select from there. Not totally dissimilar to how ERC picks content, but way faster.
That doesn't take 2 days locked in a room in Northern Virginia. Nope. Nice. Fernando checking in from Brazil. What's up? Anthony checking in. Says full English breakfast. You can't beat it. No, they do have grits in their English breakfast too. Or is it beans? I think it might be beans. Keith Michelson. Dan, we need to golf. Sweet. Vinny, Mike, favorite part of last meeting was the dinner on the river after. So let's get, okay, now we talked about educational. What's
Yeah.
the social aspect like? Give me a flavor. What do people do at MARC events or after MARC events?
I have to answer that one carefully. Well, after the last one, most of the people that attended met we were in a hotel for that one, met in the bar downstairs, had a couple of refreshments.
Don't
Kept
worry,
it
we
real
can
low
edit all
key.
this in post. Don't even worry,
Some
just let it fly.
appetizers. Everybody was just excited to see each other because it was the first live MARC meeting again. Everybody, a lot of people coming in from out of town hadn't seen each other in years, and it was just great to be around everybody and have a drink. And then some appetizers.
What's this dinner on the river? What's
dinner.
this river? I don't know. I didn't know there's a river in Atlanta.
The Chattahoochee, and that was one of Vinny's trivia questions. There's the whole thing. I'm not going to do it now, but Vinny will type it in. So a couple people got together afterwards. There's a little restaurant that sits right on the river. You got a great view of the Chattahoochee, good steaks, good fish, everything. Got together and continued discussing and debating important industry topics.
Important industry talk. Way to bring it all together at the end there.
Yeah.
This is great. Look at this. People are digging it. What keeps me up at night? And get a session about that. Sounds personal. All right. Is that a potential session you would ever consider, Chris?
I don't know about what keeps Lee up at night, but yeah, no, that is the thing. And we're trying to, I really struggled last year with what content would I actually want to see? Because with COVID and all the virtual meetings, and we've done COVID over and over and over, and the economic impact of it, and, remote work, and I just felt like there wasn't anything interesting. He still cannot pronounce the river name. Way down. Okay, we'll get to it at the end, Benny. We'll get you on.
You gonna sing the song? Is that what you're gonna?
That's what we led him into. We need Karen McCrae for that too, though. So, but yeah, looking at what are some of the impacts, but maybe not the obvious impacts, or what information can I take away from one of these sessions that it's not like somebody's going to get the answer to their entire job by going to a session, but gets you thinking about, well, how can I apply the knowledge that I just got into what it is I actually do? So we try to make it a little bit open-ended like that, just get people thinking, get you creative, problem solving.
Okay, I dig it. I like it. Lee, don't start rumors, okay? Don't keep my name out your mouth, all right? I'm just kidding. It's all fun and games here. No, but this is great. If you got any suggestions for a MARC event or anything you'd like to see, feel free to just lob it out there. We're just going to consider this an open brainstorming session. Also, if you've got any questions for Chris, he is a captive audience right now, so you can ask him anything, and I'll probably read it because that's just what I do. Trish says, applause for all the past leadership and to the current board of MARC, an amazing group of relocation leaders who support each other. Thank you, Trish. All the major corporations are moving into Atlanta. Great opportunity to make contacts and share ideas. Have you seen this, a big influx here of movement?
So I got to stop you right there because I don't know when in our little chat here we're going to talk about some of the specific agenda items, but that's one of them.
Let's hop in, man. Let's do it.
I don't want to change the flow, and I got my notes over here because I can't even attempt to remember all this stuff. So many great people are working to put this together, but there's going to be a session, our first session. We've got some industry experts. Tyler Burns, apparently president of this group, I hear. He's going to be the moderator, and we've got Greg Simon, who's senior vice president, Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. We've got Barton Lowry, assistant director, Georgia Department of Economic Development, and Brenda Robbins, business recruitment director for Georgia Power, on a panel talking about that very thing, the companies that are moving in, why they're moving in. They're going to be looking at some of the impacts of remote work. One of the other things that I got really excited about, the global immigration shifts towards remote work and then loss of company culture and efficiency. And so how are they dealing with that? Companies moving into Atlanta.
Yeah, super interesting. I love this kind of conversation. Recently, Freakonomics did a podcast on Dallas, part 1 and part 2, about people moving to Dallas, kind of what those drivers were. And they talked a little bit about corporate, relocation as well. It feels like relocation is really, on the tip of the tongue of a lot of people right now, and kind of on the front page. It's a really interesting time, and I'm always fascinated to hear what local municipalities, governments, and other, people are doing to entice people to move to the area, and why corporations choose one area over another. Is it a tax structure? Is it a, access to talent? Is it a lower cost structure for their people and their business? Do you hear any of those things? I mean,
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
conversations.
And these panelists that we're going to have next week have discussed that very thing, along with why companies choose not to come to a particular city. Like some of the what you would think fairly minor things or things you deal with every day, that could be a reason why this company says no, we're not coming. So some really interesting information. I'll tell you, one of the things we did last year to look at, what's the impact of COVID, what's the impact of remote work on our industry. Instead of going at it with a traditional economist, we looked at it from the immigration perspective, from the sort of HR bringing people together kind of perspective, and then also from a recruiting company, from a staffing company perspective. And they were seeing huge trends. So you've got, on the one hand, you've got immigration taking a lot longer, a lot more restrictive in a number of countries, because countries are trying to protect their jobs because they've taken a big hit in tax revenue and everything else from COVID. And then you've got some of these staffing companies who are seeing huge bonuses being paid to people who were willing to relocate, and bigger relocation bonuses, which is not necessarily the best way to go about it, but to people who take jobs in other locations. And then you've got some of these cities who were recruiting, like, we'll give you a mortgage payment, or give you, they had all these different financial incentives if you as the individual come remote work your job from our little town.
Right.
So really changing landscape.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because so many relocations now are self-directed, it feels like. I mean, I know my relocation was self-directed a year ago when I moved here. I know my brother's was self-directed. We moved from Arkansas to Oklahoma. I mean, so many people are self-directing their relocations right now, and they're not necessarily company sponsors. So it's super interesting. Dano's got a question about sessions. You got any topics on D&I, diversity and inclusion?
We did a couple. Yeah, I'm not going to keep talking about last year. We did a couple on that touched on that last year. This year, one of our sessions, you'd think I'd have them memorized. We don't have like a straight out D&I session this time, but some of the topics, we've got some roundtables that are organized. I think we'll touch on that. And then we've got one on reality of remote work, which probably won't touch on D&I much, but I think there'll be a couple opportunities next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times D&I though too is best done where it touches kind of everything a little bit, where it's part of all the conversations. Like remote work's a great example, right? Remote work has been shown to have different effects on different populations, right? There's a discussion around like women kind of getting left behind, in that scenario, and then return to office as well, right? And so like there's different populations that are kind of getting affected differently with these things. We've got another suggestion here. I love it. I love when I solicit suggestions. You never know what you're going to get. Keith saying, got to pitch the inaugural MARC Golf Classic, September 20th.
So, Keith, I was talking to Brad Breckle the other day, and we're thinking about changing that into
It's always a dangerous endeavor,
tournament.
by the way, talking to Brad Breckle. Just saying. Okay. I love Brad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad.
Yeah. So Keith put a lot of time and energy into this golf classic, and I expect we'll raise quite a bit of money for our charitable foundation as well in doing that.
Y'all raise a lot of money. Who do you support? I always love hearing what the different regionals support.
Keith, start typing.
Start typing. Who do you support? Give me some examples.
Camp Twin Lakes. Camp Twin Lakes is one that we've supported for a while, and we've had a number of conversations about our charitable giving going forward and what that's going to look like.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Probably typing right now.
Throw it in there. Let me ask you, Chris, do you see regionals kind of changing and the role of regionals changing, like more important, less important? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I have lots. Camp Twin Lakes. I got it right. Thanks, Lee. So the importance of now every single MARC board member is gonna chime in, so we'll just give everybody a second.
Now y'all got
I'll tell
something
you
to
what,
say.
one of the most fun, and we do have how inflation will impact it. Wow, now Lee's just embarrassing me for not remembering any of this.
Leah, she's like, here's everything we did all year, Chris. We got links to reciting our sources. I love it. Visit Mark. There's Vinny. Throw it in the Vin, throw it in the LinkedIn as well, so people can click it off of LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, that's all good. So we do have a roundtable of hot topics, which D&I and inflation and remote work will surely be in. So we have that opportunity to discuss it amongst a couple different groups of people next week. In addition to all the great charities that were just mentioned by everybody who has a better memory than me or who reads more of the emails. One of the most fun events that I'm excited we're going to be able to do again, though, that I enjoyed was the Atlanta Food Bank. And we usually have 20 or 30 or 40 people go down there. And we pack food boxes for an afternoon. And I would always get excited because for whatever reason, food bank rules, chocolate can't be included. So there's all these big old Hershey special dark chocolate bars, and they just let you eat them in the break room. So we need to break.
I like how Chris is like, my favorite part is going to the break room and eating all the food at the food bank
that they make you throw away. So, but it was always a really cool event. And it was always a competition to see if we could beat how much weight we packed from the year before, and then on when possible, we'd all go meet for a drink afterwards. So I'm looking forward to that for this year. We usually do it around November.
Yeah. Nice. Vinny's saying the Christmas holiday luncheon was amazing. Super nice to see our Marines, hoorah, Toys for Tots in attendance. Yeah, that's also
and
great.
We've been collecting Toys for Tots, and I know a lot of other groups do it, but since I've been a member of MARC at every holiday luncheon, so
I love it.
Also very cool.
I love it. Hit that like button right now if you're watching us right now. Hit that like button. Throw a little heart out there to Chris Chalk here as he talks a little bit about what MARC is doing out there. Dano's got a question. I'll be back in Atlanta Monday. How much is registration? He's curious. He's MARC curious. Well, you know what? It's a good thing we got Kristen McLaughlin here to save Chris Chalk. Dano, it's $145 for service members. Hope to see you there. And then Lee's like, here you go for the 8 millionth time, marcatlanta.org.
If this doesn't highlight what a truly group effort MARC is, yeah.
Look at this.
Okay.
People are trying to people sliding in the comments over here.
I love it.
You up? Hey. All right. Awesome. Fantastic. I do want to ask you though.
Can I do those?
Yeah, do the sessions. Do the sessions.
No, go ahead and ask your question.
No, if you guys know something to talk about, I just assumed you didn't have anything to talk about. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. So the second, I mentioned the first one. Second session, I can already tell you going to be the most poorly rated of the day. We were trying to get a bunch of ideas together, and I just went to default, kind of backup idea. So there's this guy named William Taylor. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. And William Taylor. So this is a retread session. I wanted to call this whole program like have the recycling logo because it's all this content's recycled, but it's not really fresh content. But I was planning a session for ERC a million years ago that somehow got selected. I think it was ERC in Seattle, and 2 weeks out, my speaker, I had a data scientist. I had a full-fledged, she'd written books, published stuff. She worked for a really big tech company, and I had this data scientist, and she and I were going to talk about artificial intelligence in mobility. She had worked on all the slides and done all this stuff. To this day, I don't know what happened to her, but about a week and a half out, I got an email from her assistant that something had come up and she could no longer participate, and I was screwed. So ERC had agreed to let me speak with this person, mostly because of that person. That could be, again, published author. And I started scrambling for replacements. And
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how we got into this. And it's not that I don't want them to think that they weren't my first choices, but they already know this. So we had Anupam, who you guys know from Moneo, and now Topia, and then William Taylor. And we all kind of just like got together. I can still picture the place where we were sitting and making notes on what we were going to talk about. And we put this session together, and it shockingly went well and got really good reviews. Turns out, and the ERC people are going to hate me, it turns out you don't need 3 months of daily practices to plan a session. Cocktail napkin, one pen, and me and William and Anupam, and it worked. But we were looking at, where's technology going to be? And I can't remember when Seattle was, but it was at least like 5 years ago, something like that. We were talking about, not a robot's going to come do mobility or a robot's going to pack houses or whatever. But just looking at some of the technology and those interfaces, how you get data together, and when you bring big data together, like what you can do with it. People talk about predictive analytics and data analytics, and it's kind of an overused term, I think, in this industry, because when you look at some of the predictive analytics, not so hot. So the point of the session was to kind of cover some of these topics. And it went great. So we went around the country doing this for a couple other regional groups, and we'd never done it in Atlanta. And Anupam and I made the very wise decision to uninvite William Taylor from this one, because he really
So you just invited William Taylor. Hey, somebody tag William and let him know he's not invied. Okay, don't even show your face in Atlanta next week, William.
Well, we told him the session's in May, so we'll find a way to explain to him.
So you got a 3-year-old retread technology that you're trotting technology session you're trotting out.
5 years old, but when I say it holding an Apple pen, it
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this session though, but we're gonna look at where have we come, for one thing, and then also you don't have to have an unlimited budget to put some of these connectors in place and do some really cool stuff. You really don't. It's not that hard and not that expensive, and you can always find somebody around your company that knows how to use this stuff. A little bit of Power BI goes a long way. You could be there in an afternoon. And so we're actually going to have Christy Saluga from Williams' company. She's going to moderate Anupam and I. So it'll be like Williams there.
Oh, so Christy Saluga, aka kind of like William Taylor from Relo City, aka Relocity, is going to be there. Shout out to Christy. She's great. Yep. Tag Christy as well in the comments. Let them know we're talking about them. This is hilarious. I'm loving this. I know exactly what you mean. It's so funny that you talked about that data scientist flaking out on you, because the worst session I've ever been to, and I want to ask your question. I'm going to ask you about your worst session ever. The worst session I've ever been to was one that I was hosting that I put together about the ROI of relocation programs. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some really smart ROI of HR thought leader who writes books and lectures at University of San Francisco. And I'm going to bring that person in, and they're going to talk to us about the ROI of benefit programs. And it was disastrous. It was disastrous. Not only was his data bad and his slides like 20 years old, he was also like borderline racist, chauvinist, like insulting middle America. Like, I don't know all the isms he was, but he was a lot of them. It was so cringy. And I just couldn't believe that I was responsible for this ridiculousness. And we paid money to have this guy come out. And so it was, when you started talking about the data scientists that flaked on you, I mean, they might have done you a favor, to be honest with
you. I'd still like to know what happened to her though, because I felt bad. Like I know she wouldn't have bailed out on me. Like something bad had to happen. I was worried she got really sick or something. I don't know. So, but yeah, hey, it worked out. And
was that the worst? Was that the worst session you ever been to? Or you got a worser one?
No, I mean that actually was the best session I've ever been a part of, and except for that one you and I were part of in Chicago that one time. Remember that?
Lake Geneva?
I think we sang. No, in Chicago at ERC, like 4 years ago or eight years ago.
Oh, where we were sitting up there.
We did a presentation together. I don't remember what it was on. It was brilliant.
Oh.
We sang Happy Birthday.
Well, Happy Birthday was in Puerto Rico.
No. Did we sing Happy Birthday to your wife? No.
To my wife. Oh, to my to my son who was being born at the time that I chose to go to ERC instead of being. I don't know. It was a long time ago. Was it This Idea Must Die? Was it that one?
No, but that sounds
I don't
fun.
even remember. That was a good one. I don't even remember. That's terrible. Oh my gosh, this is talking about train wrecks. Moving on. Did you get through all your sessions? I want to make sure you promoted your session.
I'll do real quick because one of the other sessions I'm really excited about. So shift happens, the reality of remote work. That's one that you should. Yeah. Wow. Did you do that? Okay, you did.
Yeah, we got a really strong team here. We've really punched above our weight here on Love and Relo.
I'm telling you, I mean, this is, so that one I'm really excited about and it was Karen McRae's idea. Brilliant. She put it all together. We're going to have Bill Baker from Cox, Stephanie Owens, I think she's from Global Mobility at that Brown UPS, and Mary Weaver, who I used to work with at Coca-Cola Company, and Will McGee from Deloitte. So that's going to be a fantastic session. And then just real quick, so I don't get any trouble for not mentioning stuff, we're going to have hot topics and mix and match, and that's going to be good, and it'll give everybody a little chance to network too. We've got a really cool speaker that Stephanie found, that's somebody that Stephanie knows. It's going to talk about a dynamic session discussing the Rockstar power of self-care. Very timely topic. I'm really looking forward to this one, it's going to be. People are going to cry again. That's where the bar is at MARC events. It's got to be good tears, so people are going to cry. It's going to be cathartic.
This idea must cry. That should be the session. This idea must cry.
This idea must die.
That was so. Melissa was there for that. This idea must die. Yeah, that was an inspired session. It was kind of like I'm sorry. We're changing the subject back to me.
No. Okay.
It was one of the sessions I did a long time. Bridget Ritchie's so right. You've been in the industry too long and you can't remember the sessions you were part of together years ago. LOL. Oof, that is true, Bridget. But this idea must die. The premise was it was a Ignite style session, right? Where you get 30 seconds per slide, but everybody had to propose an idea or commonly held belief, conventional wisdom, opinion that we need to kill. Right. Okay. So somebody might say lump sum needs to die. The term John Zoka did, the term lump sum needs to die. His premise was that while lump sum might be effective things, but is it really a miscellaneous expense allowance? Is it really a managed cap or managed budget? Is it really a relocation bonus? Like, what is it? Because it means too many things, right? Like that was an example of one that he gave, which I can't believe I still remember that. So anyway, so this idea must die was a good one. This is great. This is fun. I'm not on the board. I'm just supporting many amazing relocation councils. Vinny does get around.
Yeah.
Christian.
Christian, what's going on?
Blast
I think
from
you
the
live
past.
too far away now to make it to the MARC session. Great to see you.
I know. I think he's out in Idaho. Are you out in Idaho?
Yeah.
Christian?
Or Oregon?
Or
we'll find out.
Stop right now.
I gotta know.
Yeah. Let us know.
I worked with him for about 5 minutes.
Did you?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Ooh, Christian, right?
Good time. Yeah, Christian Hall. Yep.
Sean, don't have to replace the whole HCM stack anymore. Do you know what that means?
No.
Should we make up something that means?
And next time, Chris, I'm requesting he moves. Last time I saw him, he was right there.
You don't have to replace the whole holy crap management stack anymore to upgrade capabilities. And next time, Chris, I'm requesting he moves. Last time I saw him, he was right there. Yeah. Yeah, he was. We've already talked about that too. It's an interesting thing. Okay, Chris, I'm just going to give just a little feedback. So you have Digicam on the right, and you have this brick thing on the left. And I think you got these shades on the right, and then you got these earth tones on the left. And I think that's what messes it up for me.
I did not decorate, and it's not a background, but we have a real high tech, cool office space.
That's awesome. Yeah, you got all these cubes.
We got all these cool little
room. But you don't want to do the room though. You like having the light of the light's probably better out there.
I just mess with you with this background because you loved it so much last time.
I didn't
want to deviate.
No,
good to see you, Christian.
Deviate. This is great. Braves game social. What's up with the Braves game?
So we're in the process of booking it right now for was like June 7th. I don't know. Somebody will come in here and correct me. Did it last year, had a ball, did it the year before that. And we're able to get into a smaller private room. So we'll have the opportunity for some networking, socializing before the game starts. Lots more details will come on, and we'll have Keith or somebody else come talk to you on your show before that hits. But it was, we had so much fun last year. So
that stadium, that Brave Stadium,
really happy to be at.
Good times. Then afterwards, you go hit that. What is that? That PBR. I love that PBR bar up there.
Ride the bull
a little bit. Yeah,
we'll get
PBR
you on the
rodeo.
Bull. You come down for that one. That's when you need to come to a MARC event, because you're not going to make it to this next one.
Yeah, I gotta
think
figure
about
this
it.
out. I do. My wife's trying to limit the travel a little bit. You know.
Yeah, well, we'll make it worth it for you.
Yeah.
You can come stay with me.
I'll
bring
there
you
we
by
go.
The office too.
There we go. I like it.
So I'll tell you about what's going to be my favorite session for next week. You ready? It's duty of care under global uncertainty. It is definitely a timely topic. This topic, when we started planning it, went in a lot of different directions. Thank goodness Lee Massey is going to rein it all in. She's moderating this session. We've got Yola Harb from Cardis, Scott Adaman from Going There, and then Lee's husband, because we ran out of potential speakers. So Lee's husband is
from Guidepost
be
Solutions.
The third panelist.
Is that from Guidepost Solutions?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he does now.
I'm just reading the comments. I have the benefit of Vinny's doing all the research. Vinny, you need to produce the show. Vinny, you ever want to guest produce the show? Give Stacy a day off, give her a little work-life balance, give her a little self-care, Come on, Vinny. You could definitely hook this up, man. This is good stuff here. All right. So is that all of the sessions that we have to look forward to at MARC?
That's all. We were going to have to make it a 2-day event, but this duty of care one, I mean, like I said, went in a lot of directions. There were some lengthy planning sessions about what topics we were going to cover, but looking at some of the impacts from the war in Ukraine that, you wouldn't necessarily think about first, some of the longer term impacts. And then there's been no lack. You look at the last 5 years and duty of care, you can't just go, okay, well, my company doesn't have any expats in Ukraine, so I'm good. There's a knock-on effect. And it's been the same thing with a lot of what we've encountered. You can't just, go breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, I don't have anybody in China, so this flu thing isn't going to get to me. So it's a whole lot bigger than that. It's going to be good.
That was good. I like how you just did that. Like, I don't have any problem with China, so this flu thing is not going to get to me. I mean, that one really hit home. All right, cool. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, just, it's good. It's good stuff. That's all I'm saying. Let me ask you, Chris, you got any questions for me, Chris? That was natural.
I do.
Segue. You like that?
Yeah, I do. What's the worst? Well, you already answered one of them though. Was going to be what's the worst?
Hey, Chris, check the screen
seen?
here. With super producer Stacy, she hooked you up here. Yeah, this is all natural, totally unscripted, off the cuff conversation between two guys just happen to know each other for a while, Yes, yeah, Chris?
It's half of it is. Ben, where are you appearing in person next? If I could talk.
Oh my gosh, this is great. In person, I'm going to Chilwaukee tomorrow, Cream City, for the MRC Midwest Relocation Conference. Unfortunately, I didn't have the foresight to actually do a show from there. I mean, I'm doing a show there, but I'm interviewing Sean Luchins. No offense, Sean, but I mean, it seems like a missed opportunity. So anyway, I'm interviewing Sean from MRC instead of interviewing someone at MRC while I'm at MRC. We're still working through the kinks here, guys. Trying our best. Yeah, so I suppose that'll be next. But if I was doing like a live on location thing, the next one would probably be in May. I'll be in England, middle of May. And actually, matter of fact, the one I'm really, really, really excited about, besides being in England for the Alta Vita Innovation Summit, I will be in Jura in Seville, Spain at the end of May.
Right. And
I'm going to try to do like 2 lives from there. I've never been to Jura before. I hear it is amazing. It's been sold out for like 3 years. So shout out to Jana. She got us in. She got tickets for us. and I'm going to be broadcasting live there and trying to talk to the Europeans as best I can, you know, in English, American English. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. That was a good one.
And then my other question was, she didn't have to show it, but she showed it. What's been your most embarrassing presentation or talk show moment?
Well, I mean, gosh, I mean, everybody knows about Lake Geneva. That was pretty epic. Where I dropped 5 F-bombs in 5 minutes.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Maybe
You didn't see that one?
YouTube
That was pretty epic.
Okay.
But you know what? You know what made me do that though? And this is not going to be my answer, but you know what made me do that though? It was the first thing you said when you were talking about coming up for content for MARC. And it was like, what can I do right now that's going to keep people from checking their email? And I literally had everybody's attention at 11:59 before lunch, and I had everybody's attention. And that was kind of mission accomplished in that regard. But I would say really the most embarrassing on the show, for instance, Kerwin Guillermo, like who's like a mentor to me, who I love this guy. And he came on, I want to say in season 1, you know, that's what we're calling it now, like the first year we did this. And literally my internet crapped out on me. Like it was like, hey everybody, welcome to Lover Black, right? Like I just went away. And Kerwin's sitting there in Singapore. It's like 3 a.m. or something, poor guy. And I just go black. And I'm down for 3.5 minutes. Wow. I literally ran downstairs into my basement, threw open the closet where my router is, unplugged it, counted to 10, you know what I'm saying? Replugged the thing back in. Like, look for the green light to stop blinking and go solid. Ran back up the stairs, refresh. And like Kerwin's up there, like doing like knock jokes or something, like trying to pass the time. People are like, hang in there, Kerwin, he's coming. Because I had some. This is right when COVID started, and my internet was real blinky. I didn't have the extender. I didn't have the people. After that, people sent me Wi-Fi extenders. They sent me all sorts of like hardwire gear, and it was epic. Sandra saying that was a great show with Kerwin Guillermo. Yeah, that was. Yeah, Drew says Kerwin was a phenomenal host. Yeah. Dano's correcting me too. He says it was 6 F-bombs. I got receipts. Yeah. Thanks, Dano. Yeah. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, I mean, we've had some moments, but you know, that's why this is why I'm a quantity person. Because if you do enough, people forget. Yeah. It's like water under the bridge. Just forget. You know?
I think all your shows are great. So I don't think much could actually embarrass you. So thanks for playing along with that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking me the tough stuff.
So calm and chill all the time. Hey, if I get one more, other than the session you did that didn't turn out that good, what was either your favorite session at a local or regional group and or the biggest train wreck session? And maybe don't say the group or the names if it was a train wreck.
Let's put people on blast here. People putting crap out. Let's put them on blast. No, I think I'm gonna say this about the bad stuff. I want to encourage people when they're making a session or making content to think, like you said before, to think about the people who are out there who really mostly don't care at all about what you're talking about, and really try to make it interesting and personable. And one of the most fun things that had me, whenever William Taylor talks, I'm listening because he's personable, he's authentic, he's funny, because he's real, he's self-deprecating, but not to like a cringy point. I remember seeing him at my first BAM when he was the president, and I was like, I love this guy. He has me. And then I saw him at, I want to say it was a like president speak or something. Maybe it was an Ignite session or something at ERC, maybe in Seattle. And he's like, yeah, in college I looked like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. And he had like the curly fro kind of thing. I was playing hacky sack on the quad, smoking too much weed or something like that. And I'm like, I'm in. Yes, tell me more, William. Like he had me from jump right there. And I just love people that can really be authentic and put themselves out there in a way where they show their realness. I think so often, and this is really more of a pre-COVID thing than kind of a now thing. But we get up there and we'd be like, slide, bar graph, slide, pie graph, slide, scatter plot, slide, questions, crickets. Thank you for your time. And
Yep.
it's like, I
Yeah.
just want to urge everybody to get away from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do know what you mean. And we actually used that picture of Sideshow Bob for William's bio when we did this presentation on technology at HRP. We did that. Yeah, we all had a Simpsons character. So,
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
if you ever want to come learn about technology and there's no slides, no bar graphs, just because I wouldn't let Anupam bring them. But it's actually a lot of fun. It's a fun session to do. So hopefully people get something out of it.
So,
yeah.
Can I go off script real quick? You're talking about bar graphs and stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes people tell me this show is too much of a buddy show, right? It's two people cutting up, having too much fun. They don't watch it because they need more reload. They have too much love, need more reload. You don't need more content. Get to the point, whatever, right? Anyway, I got all sorts of things to say about that. But
yeah, I mean, we can start talking about policy development if you want to.
I thought about it. I said, what if I said, and I want to run this by you, and I want your honest opinion. And people in the comments, feel free to jump in here and tell me what you think. I thought, you know what? What if I read Mobility Magazine? What if I read Mobility Magazine and took like an article that somebody wrote that was like really impressive, right? Had data points, it was well researched, a white paper per se, right? And like had them come on and like present the information more like webinar style, but like I brought in my real a little bit of humor, a little bit of analysis, a little bit of like, let's not take ourselves so seriously, a little bit of let's engage with the audience. Let's test these assumptions. Because, people put white papers out there to really advance their own topics. But, like a lot of it's kind of bullshit because it's like, it's really, and I'm like, what if we like really like, made it interesting, right? Yeah. Do you think that would be a good idea or departing too far away from what the show is?
I'd watch it once. I absolutely would. I think that I'd love to. I talked a little bit more work stuff when I was on your show last time, and that was a lot of fun. I'd love to get on here with you and another person or two and talk about policy development and how we're adjusting our policies to meet the trends, not of today, but of 3 years from now. I'm writing policies right now, and I can tell you, I don't want to do it again next year or the year after that. I promise you, my policies will stick around for 10 years because they're very vague. But it's a framework. It's a framework, so that we can. So I'm building flexibility into them. But it can be both things, Ben. Especially with you, it can be both things. So and then we got comments coming in from Keith about I need socks. And,
yeah, I mean this is usually the bar that we set. This is the decorum. This is the level that we're at. I need socks. People talking is never a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. Spitballing, educated guests, it helps all parties learn more. Vinny says, no, there are already way too many webinars. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, let the webinar people have their webinars. Let the white paper people have their white papers. I'm kind of there, but I also like, you know what it was for me, Chris, though, too? I'm like, the inference there was that this is lowbrow or that there's nothing to really learn or glean from the conversations that we have. And that was really what I took exception with. And maybe I just read into it the wrong way. But I actually think that funny people are the smartest people, so if you can actually take something and like synthesize it into a way that's like kind of snappy and witty and, maybe satire a little bit. I think that's really interesting stuff. And that's something I would actually want to watch is people like having a good time and being themselves. So
yeah,
that was kind of,
I think you're doing a great job of promoting our industry and doing it in a way that hadn't been done before. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Sandra says the value. Thank you very much. Sandra says the value and attraction of Love and Real is the banter. Host panel attendees with diverse learnings arising from the banner. No one wants another talking head environment. Thank you, Sandra. Okay. All right. This is good stuff. And, this is what we put it out there. We see.
Let me tell you, for the people that have stuck around this long, let me tell you one of my favorite sessions ever from a local or regional group. You ready?
Yes.
And there'll be some people on here that saw this session. And I think the person's retired now, but I still won't say her name. But it was SRRC, and it was a very long time ago. And it was a corporate panel. And this is a long time before I was on the corporate side. but it was something like how to sell to me. And so it was 3-ish corporate people. One of them was Nancy from Darden, but she was Nancy. She's always just like perfection. And then Sharon Chappell from JM Family. And all the corporate people were being corporate people and being appropriate and whatever else. And somebody asked a question like, Sharon, so if I drop something off at your office or I mail you something, do you ever read it? Do you ever get around to looking for it? And Sharon was just like, if I didn't ask for it, it goes in the trash. And I thought it was awesome. I loved how honest she was. And then it was like she realized what she said and she almost tried to take like a half a step back. But that was something I always loved about Sharon was, she was always upfront, honest herself. And so I always really enjoyed that about her. And that was an awesome session.
I love it. I love it. That's great. That's great. Listen, this is great. We've got a couple more comments coming in, and then we're gonna play a little game. Vinny says we need more Love and Real casual discussions without the scripts. Always learn so much from Chris and all his bad jokes. Don't listen to the negativity.
Show me a bad joke.
You. What up, Keith? Appreciate you. Drew Phillips agrees with Sandra Claire. People think you can't learn from casual conversations. I feel for them. Sandra Sprinkle with the irresponsible, wild speculation that only Ben can do with a straight face. Hey, I couch it as such, right? I mean, it's like Fox News. It's not news. It's entertainment. I'm just listen. You don't have to be well informed to have an opinion over here. I'm just saying stuff. Anyway, all right. So let's have a little fun. All right, Chris. You seem like a fun guy, unless I misread you. Okay. All right. Good. I think he is. All right. Let's have a little fun. Since the last time you've been on, we've been doing this thing called Over Under. Over Under. This is not a gambling show. I'm sorry. Let me back up. Cut. We've been doing this thing called Overrated, Underrated. Okay. You ready for this? Overrated and underrated. All right. So, technology. Overrated, underrated.
Overrated. It's not supposed to be a substitute for human interaction. It's supposed to help us have more meaningful human interaction.
So augment the human experience. Don't replace the human experience. And it's not a cure-all, panacea, silver bullet. Okay. All right. I tend to agree with you. Overrated. I mean, we say this as we're like live streaming, in a virtual environment with all what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's accepted. It's like required as table stakes nowadays. But I think we also overlook how much we rely on it. So if you take it all away and we're sitting there with a fax machine, a phone book, and some rate tables or something like that, I think that we might think differently. But I feel you. All right, I'd say overrated. That one's correct. All right, next one. Regional groups, overrated or underrated?
Unless you're rating them very, very high, they're underrated. I think people have come to have a new appreciation for them. I think the content, I'll just go with rivals, ERC or national groups. I've seen some just outstanding content, a lot of these different regional groups that I've been so very impressed with. And for people that don't have a travel budget or, some companies still aren't letting people travel, I think you get more out of that in-person interaction. And so if you can do it at a local and regional level, I think it's fantastic. And I'll do everything I can to support all regional groups.
You know what? I agree with you. Regional groups are underrated because corporate folks can travel to them. It's like a midday thing, right? It's not like I need to get approval to go, get a budget.
Yeah.
These are HR folks for the most part, right? They're not, getting huge budgets to go to Vegas necessarily. Although I will see all y'all at Worldwide ERC in Vegas. So you get that deal, and they're more nimble too, right? So you can do all sorts of stuff. You can play with stuff, right? I think also they have better parties, right? Worldwide ERC doesn't actually throw a party. I mean, they did this time, but normally they don't really throw a party per se. So they have better parties. And if you care, if you're really doing relo to the area, if you're a corporate person and you actually care what real estate's doing in Atlanta, or whatever, you actually get that local drill down. So I appreciate. They're hell though on the salespeople because there's 30 of them. So how do we manage? How does a nationwide salesperson go to 30 different groups 3 times a year or whatever the number is? It's brutal.
I see my friends and they're posting, they're going here to here to here and go have a pack a bag and then come to Atlanta. I mean, yeah,
Oh, the
it's a tough
mortgage
life.
people, they're crazy. They hit all of it. It's wild stuff. I'll tell you what, regional groups are probably the reason people get divorced. I'll be honest with you, regionals. All right, next. Dirty Martin, good lead in. Dirty martinis, overrated or underrated?
See, I put these in a specific order. Most overrated drink on earth. Like, why? And just get a jar of olives and take a sip. Like, it's the best way to ruin alcohol other than boiling it. Don't understand it.
Other than boiling,
Like,
can I have a boiled
fight
dirty
me on
martini,
this.
please?
Yeah. Yeah. Fight me on this. Like,
Fight me.
yeah,
At
serves
me,
no purpose.
fight me. Keith says, so is a martini bar. You're sweet, Chris.
So was it.
I don't know.
That was underrated. That thing was awesome. So, yeah, dirty martinis. If you can't stand the taste of an adult drink, just like get a popsicle or something. I don't know. I can't help you. So if
Oh,
you gotta have that
you
much
know who
olive
you're
juice
fighting?
to hide it.
You know who you're fighting on this? Vinny,
Half
under.
of this
If
industry.
it has blue cheese olives, so good.
See, and yeah, not dirty. That's where the flavor comes in. Just the olives. You put 2 olives in. You don't pour the juice in. Just the olives go in. That's all the flavor you need. That's all the olive flavor.
Vinny, are you putting the juice of blue cheese olives into your martini?
Yeah.
Put it in the comments. Let's be honest right now. This is authenticity. This is not this ain't your dad's webinar. Okay, put it in the comments. Let me know.
Keith's comments. I did a martini bar at SRC one time, and I was mixing up chocolate martinis with chocolate covered macadamia nut garnish down in the glass, and I rimmed it with cocoa powder, so everybody was crammed into this sweet, and they're all walking around with a brown line around the middle of their back because everybody's bumping into each other with these martini glasses. So yeah,
they're sloshing, they're bumping. This is great. This is great. Let's see here. People are agreeing with Chris. Let's see. Vinny says a little bit, just a splash. I'll put a little bit of that blue cheese olive juice in there.
Vinny, let me know where you're going to be in about 30 minutes, and we'll have this debate in person.
In the parking lot with Vaseline on his cheeks, earrings out.
No, at the bar. We'll do a taste test.
I will have one tonight. Cheers, Vinny. I need you to do a Facebook Live, Vinny, with your dirty martini tonight. Keith says we lost some good people that night.
Yeah, we did.
This is great.
Now, there were other parties that happened after I stopped doing them and somebody else started doing them. That one was not mine. Where people ended up in the bushes and corporate people had to go home.
Talking.
That was not mine.
Martinis. Tracy, do you take them dirty or not? Hey, we got to move on for the sake of time. I know we're over. What is the last one? Overrated, underrated? Disconnecting from work.
Underrated. We got to do a better job. People are. There's no work-life balance. Like, that's a incorrect concept. I guess it's more like work-life integration. But you got to stop and take a break. Work's going to get done. I think people are just still from COVID just killing themselves at work, and it's you got to do better. You got to support each other.
Yeah, I like that, support each other. You know, I was talking to somebody over in Europe, and they were saying how even salespeople, like, they'll go off on these holidays for weeks at a time, you know, and they'll just cover each other's desk. And if it comes down to doing a best and final, you know, they'll do it for the other person, even though they're not going to make the commission on it, you know. And it's like that type of having each other's back. You know, you don't see that as much here. People don't take off because they don't feel like anybody will cover for them, you know. But everybody over there knows, hey, if we're going to do these 2-week-long vacations over here, these holidays, then we all got to participate, you know. And so this is Vinny saying, this is my break. This is Vinny disconnecting from work. So that answers the question about love and reload. Yes, love and reload is just love, no reload. This is actually Vinny's break from work. Tracy saying dirty. That's what's up. All right. Hey, you're going to have to fight a bunch of people today. This has been a lot of fun. Chris, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Chris, you want to leave people?
I got to do one more shout out. I got to do one more shout out. I got to leave you one thing to one of my absolute favorite people who definitely works in mobility, who maybe I stumbled over my words because I was a little nervous talking to Ben Cross. But Stephanie definitely does work in mobility at UPS, and she's got some outstanding stuff for next week. So if for no other reason you show up to MARC, just show up to see Stephanie on stage.
Stephanie Owens from UPS definitely works in mobility. Amazing professional. It's going to have some good stuff at MARC. This was good stuff. Thank you, Chris Chalk, Global Mobility, Fiserv. Appreciate you being here. It's good to see you, buddy. And I can't wait to catch you at a MARC event in the future.
Can't wait. Thank you so much, Ben.
Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.